Hi, this is George Kollias, and you're watching Loudwire. There is a song that made me wanted to start playing drums. It was an actual album, okay? So it was every song. The album was And Justice for All, and Lars's drumming, the production, which was very unique by then, with the drums like up front and the very clicky kicks and everything, and Lars was killing it as well. I was already playing guitar for a couple of years. When I heard Justice for All, I was like, I gotta buy a drum set. I gotta find a way to buy a drum set. When I first got the drum set, I had already a song down that was For Whom the Bell Tolls from Metallica again. And, it's a very simple song, but, it's a very powerful song. It's got some tricky parts, but not too many. But I remember, I was like, I can approach these. I can probably learn how to play it. And then I was trying to analyze the feels and everything. He had 4 toms, 2 floor toms. I was trying to figure out, what he was hitting and all this stuff. So yeah, that was the first song. The beat is very, very simple. I love these crashes. Like these crashes, they're so musical. And one thing I really, really admire to Lars, and not many people actually notice it, is like his hi-hat is just dropped, okay? So mine is like half open. I can play it with my foot as well. And, both ways. Lars controls all the dynamics with the hand. Like if you watch, for example, like Nothing Else Matters, the hi-hat is so musical. And it's all the dynamics coming straight from the hand. That he balances the cymbal. He plays with the cymbal in a way that makes it sound like extremely musical. So that's one of the things I really love in his playing. The next song was probably And Justice for All, like the main track, which had this so unique drum groove, which it makes the song sound like extra great. Okay, which is this. I mean, you can tell this is that's Lars, that's Justice for All, that's a great groove, but very musical. Like it fits the riff so well. And this is one of my goals with Nile as well. I try to play to match the riffs and emphasize the riff. Like if it's a slow riff, I might go a little bit more busy just to spice it up a little bit. But if it's a super complicated riff, for example, I might hold back a little bit and, let people, understand the riff a little bit better. So, like I said, it's a very musical concept, and I don't approach drumming like, okay, let's play the most difficult thing, blah, 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 the fastest thing or, whatever. So for me, it's always the music first. One other song, which actually I played with my band back then, I was 12 years old, was Dead Skin Mask, which was, I would say, my introduction to double bass because, it's a slow song, some really killer feels from Dave Lombardo, obviously, huge influence as well. But the double bass was the bet. I had a second kick drum as soon as I got my first drum set. So that was like day 1 or something. So Dead Skin Mask was like one of the first songs to try to get and, play a song that has double bass, okay? It's a very easy groove. I love it. So that was my first double bass song I learned. A next song was that we also played live was People of the Life from Creator. Creator was another huge influence in my playing and my musicality. I just love the band. I grew up with Creator. I like him to this day, obviously. But I remember People of the Life was, it was a easy song for the approach, so it was it was doable, but I also had my first, let's say, drum break solo or something, which was a really, really cool solo. If I remember, it goes like this. Or something like that. Anyways, it's been a long time, so we used to play that in '91. Next track was actually every song from Arise album, from Sepultura, which was, after Lars, Igor Cavalera was my biggest influence. I remember Igor, he was the one that he helped me to start pushing myself around the set. For example, just move around the set like as quick as possible, you know, and make it a part of the music. I mean, playing a groove, fast, complicated, simple, whatever, you know, I think it's 50% of the job, because you have to be able to get out of the, I call it the safe zone, because, you know, in the groove, you just, you know, cruising, okay? And getting out of the comfort zone and lay down a drum fill, a badass drum fill, and get back to the zone and hold the band, because this is the main thing we gotta have in mind, okay? I gotta hold the band, I gotta, you know, everybody has to follow the drummer, and the drummer needs good time. Hello, like, of course. So it's pretty challenging to play for Nile, for example, and all the grooves are like really, really pushy, okay? So there's no really time to relax. And then the fills are the same, you know, on the pushing zone. But, you know, at the end of the day, I really love, you know, trying harder, because otherwise I think I will be a little bit bored. So that's why we play for Nile. I remember Tony Laureano, the drummer right before me. He played for In the Darkest Shrines. I played the next album and the rest. So he had a great drum fill, which was the first song from Nile that I got into it, you know, learned it as good as possible. The timing, because we had to put everything on the click when I joined. So the click is very tricky, but we never have a problem to follow it, because obviously we know the song. So the song starts. Well, there is some timpanis there. I don't know if Tony was doing the floor toms. I always add a little bit of floor toms, you know. But then the main riff, it follows a blast beat, which is, and it's like, dun dun dun, ba da 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 da. Okay, so, and then there is that really, really cool feel, which is like, favorite drum intros. Where do we start here? I would say Scavenger of Human Sorrow. That's like a great intro. Very musical, very tech, intense. Like, I remember listening to Sound of Perseverance, you know, the album, and, you know, I just put the CD in, hit play, and I'm like, man, the drummer was going, you know, crazy. And Richard Christie nowadays is a good friend of mine. I'm still a huge fan of this album, and, you know, a lot of the things he did, and huge impact in my playing. Like I said before, he's like on that order, like there is always a main influence, okay? There are great drummers to this day as well, but there is always somebody that you look up to him, and he counts a little bit more, okay? So yeah, Richard was for sure that guy for me back then. And his playing on that Death album is absolutely incredible. So let me try to remember Scavenger of Human Sorrow. We used to play it with my band in Greece right before I joined Nile, actually. It was something like that, you know. It's been many, many years. And of course, lack of comprehension with Son Reinhardt in the album Human. From Death again, obviously. The groove is very easy in the beginning. There's a lot of, well, actually, my ride is too heavy. So I would use this crash, okay? So it doesn't play the rim. I just want to show you the right hand. So it's like a little bit more like fusion approach. So the groove is very slow, and they have some effects. I think there is a flanger or something, you know, it sounds like really, really weird. But that right cymbal is all the money. Like, it really elevates the song, even with these effects. You know, it sounds like, you know, from space. I love it. Also, Symbolic was a great album with amazing ideas, like every idea in there as well. And the songs, like I said, huge Death fan here. You know, I have nothing bad to say. I can't find any bad spots on any album they did. But yeah, I remember Zero Tolerance. I also love one of my intros, which is on Vile Nilotic Rights. It's a very tricky one. It kind of sounds like a flattening of emotions from Death. I mean, everybody told me they get that vibe, but what I had in my mind was it's completely different. So I would say it ended up sounding like a little bit similar, or at least a vibe, but you know, the concept is completely different. And it's like, and I'm chopping 1/16 out, so it will be. Okay, and then I just change the counting, so it's kind of like works again, so it will be. So that will be, let's say, 5-stroke roughs, or syncopated 16 triplets or something like that. And then I kind of like solo on the toms and the floor toms over these. So it will be. So if you hear it closely and you hear the 5-stroke roughs, then it's a great one. Favorite drum fill or intro for Nile? You know, for some fans, maybe an older album is what remains in their memory and their heart, obviously. But I think for the musicians, it's always the last album that speaks, you know, more than anything else, because, you know, we're more mature. Nowadays, we spend way more time composing with pre-production, trading files with Carl or Brian. I would pick maybe Long Shadows of Dread, because I think that intro, it fits the riff so well. It's very complicated, not too hard. It's actually one of the most fun songs to play live, to be honest. That's probably one of my big time favorite, with In the Name of Amun, Call to Destruction, just to name a few, which are fast songs, but for some reason they feel easy and fun to play. And not only killing yourself, you know, the usual story. So Long Shadows has a very complicated and busy intro, but it fits the riff so well. I think it complements the riff so well. So let me try to show it a little bit slower, and then normal speed. And then the blast beat kicks in. Normal speed will be these. So yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. And like I said, Long Shadows of Dread is so much fun to play live. I really love that song. Maybe another one will be Vile Nilotic Rights, which we also play pretty much on every set list the last few years. Now, Vile has some ghost notes in there. I don't know if people are able to hear it, you know, with all that distorted guitars and everything, but the main groove will be, or it sounds like this, but there's a lot of ghost notes happening, so. So, yeah, it has a little bit of, you know, some extra layers, we'll say. So yeah, I love these tracks, and they're gonna be definitely on the upcoming set list as well. Drum parts that I enjoy from the new album. Chapter, the first single, it's a very fun song to play. It's on that slow fast zone. I call it slow fast. It's like a 1, 2, 3, right there, you know, which we're not used to play. So it's a little bit tricky. And in order to make it sound a little bit more interesting, I put some swing. So the hi-hat is not like, so it's like a, just little details. And then it's got one part that goes like super fast. Not too fast, actually. I think it's like 260, if I'm not wrong. So that's like easy air, you know, because that's closer to what we usually do. Aside with these slower blasts and these tricky accents. So Chapter is fun. With that being said, make sure you guys check The Underworld Awaits Us All, coming out in August 23rd. So far, the reviews are talking about a great album. I also guarantee you won't be disappointed. Check it out and see you on the road.